So let me ask you, I was in the room in Manchester, New Hampshire, the night of that race, and you said third place is a ticket to ride on to South Carolina. A few days later, you dropped out of the race. We had you on the show many times. A lot of people in the press certainly were enamored of you. A smart guy, an experienced guy, a guy with a sense of humor, and by the way, a very conservative guy if you look at the record. So as you look back now with a couple of months to reflect on it, how come you never quite got off the launching pad?
Well, you start a little late in the game. And then when my good, better, half Mary Kay sat down as we began this journey and said, if you pander, if you sign those silly pledges, I will leave you. I knew at that point that we in deep trouble. To be followed up by
Grover, I'm going to have to get back to you.
She's shaking her head right now.
To be followed up by a guy named Michael Moore who went on television and said, that Huntsman guy, he's a Republican, I think I could support.
Seriously?
To be followed up by Jimmy Carter, who said that Huntsman guy, I think he's somebody I could support.
Okay,
to be followed up by Bill Clinton, who went on television and said, he seems pretty unhidebound, he's a Republican, I think. I said, we were so toast in Iowa by that.
But you were out there for a good long while. The voters had a chance to see you and get to know you, and yet you couldn't get out of that single-digit range. Wasn't there something else at work? How do you see it as you look back?
Well, I would argue that you get out from the early caucuses and primaries, which don't have a lot of people who turn out and participate. If you get out to those who are stuck in the middle and say, where's my voice?
Right.
Who's representing me? Where are the issues that I care about? We just didn't get far enough in the campaign.
But what mistakes did you make? Because obviously there's nothing like running for president. You obviously, the first time around, everybody makes big mistakes the first time around. That's why very few people get elected the first time around. What were your mistakes?
Oh, I think you have to say, first of all, you're transitioning from the most compartmented job in the world, that being U.S. ambassador to China, and you jump into a race where the way you communicate is totally different. The way you interact with people is, the whole milieu is completely the two most opposite undertakings I could ever imagine. And so you've got to make that transition. And, you know, I have to blame myself. You know, the transition from one to the other isn't necessarily an easy one. So you could point a finger of blame and say, gee, he didn't sound like a politician, he didn't talk like a politician. Well, one, I'm not a politician. Two, I've just been in a very compartmented, highly sensitive diplomatic job, and you're kind of transitioning into the open, transparent campaign environment.
It was also